What's up guys, Callum from Western Tabletop here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Little Plastic Men online figure modification, getting them to fit video. Now the best thing about the modifications that are required to the Little Plastic Men's, the AL1s, the heavyweight hybrids, the walkers, the lightweight AL1s, the best thing that you're about to see is that actually to get them to go into their bases and their discs, it's easy. It's such an easy modification. I love that it's an easy modification. It's a modification that I don't feel should have to be made. If you're making figures to go in your own bases, they should fit, but they don't perfectly straight away. But the product itself is so good. I love these things. So many different options as we covered in the last one, but the figures just don't fit in their own bases that well. They contact the bottom of the base, which puts them out of the base too much. But it's an easy fix, so let's have a look at it. Alright, so let's talk about what we have in front of us here and what we've already covered so far in the series, if you haven't seen it already. What we are doing is we are looking at the readily available, easy to acquire figures, bases and discs in the UK. Now, there is one notable absentee from this, and this is Topspin. The reason for this is because, frankly, I couldn't find anywhere easy to get it. I couldn't just Google it and there was an option of where to buy it from on a UK supplier. I know there are UK supplier options available. However, with these, I want it to just be simple. Somebody just coming in, getting on their computer and going, oh, I want to paint some Subbuteo. Oh, what brands do I know? Oh, I can just type in Zuego. I can just type in Subbuteo or you paint Subbuteo and options will come up. So this is why these are the options that we've got here. I know Topspin are available in the UK. The reason they are not included in this is simply because it's not a simple Google search. So what we have covered so far in the series is how they all go together, options that you get, different bases, different discs. Now if you haven't seen that yet, it doesn't necessarily matter now, but definitely check back and watch the series so far. What we've got here are our Santiago heavyweight style. We've got the vintage, we've got the two Type 2 guys here in the classic heavyweight, and we've got the Type 1 original heavyweight style figure here. These are all in Santiago bases and discs. So these are like discs and figures, Santiago, all should go together. Over here, we've got the Santiago Spitfire single piece base, which is based on, I believe, the Hasbro Subbuteo base. Now in there, we have got figures from all different suppliers. We've got some Super Footy guys here, and we've got our LPM online figures here, which as you can see, fit pretty much perfectly with no actual issues whatsoever. So the Santiago Spitfire has been a very, very good, done well. It's performed brilliantly in my initial tests by being just a universal acceptor of pegged base figures. In front of those, we've got Super Footy bases and figures. Now these guys, as with the Santiagos over here, they accept their own figures and bases pretty much perfectly without any dramas at all. One noticeable absentee from this setup, I'm just going to grab one quickly, is the Zuego. Now the Zuego, if you've been watching this series already, you will know the Zuego frustrated me more than anything because, again, I'm going to show you again, they just don't fit together that easy. Like, there you go, pop in, pop out, pop in, pop out. So in the last episode, you would have seen me modify these Zuego bases and discs here to accept Santiago figures because we were looking at the cross compatibility of figures and bases. So we have some Zuego bases and discs here, which have got Santiago Type 1 and Type 2 figures in. So they're going to come on to, we're going to come on to them in a later episode in the series. So Zuegos, I really like the look of Zuegos and I want these to work really well, but they're just going to take a lot more work to get them to work perfectly. When we come to the painting of the Zuego figures video, hopefully by then we're going to have all these figures and bases put together. So let's just put him up the back here on his own. What we are looking at today, the focus of this video, is what is right in front of us here. It's the guys available from Little Plastic Men. We've got here a Super Footy figure in an LPM online base and disc as well. We're not going to look at him today, but I've left him at the front just to show you guys again. You can fit Super Footy figures into Little Plastic Men online. I believe these are iBase Storms bases and discs. They do fit really well and actually fit perfectly. They don't have really many issues. There's a slight raise there, you can just see, but they fit better than the actual figures available from Little Plastic Men Online do into their own bases. And then what we've got here is we've got an example of a heavyweight figure in an LPM Online base and disc, a heavyweight style figure in a Super Footy base and disc, which as you can see is loose, and a heavyweight figure in a Santiago Spitfire, which as you can see is perfect. So he can go over to the back. He can join his friends back here because he is ready to paint. So what we're going to do is have a look at these guys in front of us here and how hopefully a real simple modification with a little snip of the bar is going to get these guys in nice and easy. Again, this is not planned. I have not tested this. I have not redone this. This is exactly happening as I'm thinking about it. The easiest option I can probably think of that would work with these is sandpaper or a nail file. The simple fact of the matter is I just don't have them to hand right now, so I'm doing it with what I've got. However, I would recommend, if you have sandpaper, try sandpaper first. It's going to be a lot easier to take less off than it is with this. You have a lot more control, a lot more finesse ability with sandpaper than I'm going to have using a craft knife and this little section here on these pair of long nose pliers. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get these guys out of the way, going to take these guys out their base. Oh, hello, he's already out. I'm going to take these guys out their bases and we're just going to look at a simple way of hopefully modifying them to get them to fit in their bases. Cool, so the first thing we're going to do is just get these figures out of their bases that they're currently in. Not a massive issue because, as you can see, most of them just come out because they're not a great fit. Now, there's a couple of Super Footy bases in here, and the reason those Super Footy bases are in here is because I want to see how easy they're going to be to get into Super Footy bases as well, because they should be able to fit in there, which I know they do fit, they're just not a great, you know, not a tight fit. They're very loose, as we can see here. We just place him on top of there. He's going to fit now, isn't he? Knew that was going to happen. Most of them just come straight out. Here we go. There we go. This is the player I should have picked up as my example. So as we place him in there, look, he just falls out. So most of them don't fit that great. This guy absolutely stitched me up because he actually fitted quite nicely, but he does still have a bit of movement in there because he has his extra little plastic knobbly bit here. So what I'm going to do is try and modify these to get them in. So the first thing I'm going to try is using the little cutty bit here of these snub noses. And just make is a classic, an AL1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just cut off the bottom of his peg. Bosh. Easy as that. So it's now a lot less peg than we had before. Let's pop him into our Super Footy base. And as you can see, he now fits pretty nicely. He's still loose. He's going to need gluing in, but he's in there. And that was actually very, very simple. So there's our AL1 guy. Let's grab our heavyweight. So this is our LPM heavyweight hybrid, who is based on, of course, the classic heavyweight figure. And again, all I'm going to do is just into my cutters here, I'm just going to try and take off a little bit of his peg, which we have done, which is, I just pushed that out of there. That is how much we've taken off. So it is quite a lot, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. So let's put him into a Super Footy base. Now again, he now fits nice and flush, which is exactly what we want. We want him to fit nice and flush, nice and easy. Now obviously we have these guys here, and we now have the real tester, getting them to fit into their own figures and bases. It's been a very easy thing to do so far. I'm not anticipating it being any harder. So here we have one of our walkers. Again, don't want to cut the whole peg off. I just want to take the end of it off, really. Just make it shorter. Click. Bosh. Done. So let's try him. What should we put him in? Shall we put him in this fluoro and grey effort? Now the issue I think I'm going to have here is that when obviously you snip, oh, beautiful, he's in. Yes, 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 yes. That is what I wanted when I first got these figures out. That is the fit I was after straight off the bat. Look at it, it's lovely, it's flush. That's what I was after, that's what I wanted, that's what I expected when I picked these guys up. That is how smooth I was expecting that transition to be between the base, the disc and the peg, and that's exactly what I wanted. I shouldn't have had to modify it though, but it's a lot easier modifying these than it is modifying the Zuego. So let's just go through the rest of these and then we'll match them up into their bases. So here we've got, I believe, an AL1 vintage. Just want to take a little bit of him off so you can see how deep he is into the snub noses there. And then that's how much we took off. And we're going to put the AL1 vintage. Let's put him into, this, shall we? Again, the reason they're a little bit tricky to get in to start with, because where I snip them, they obviously splay out a little bit onto the end. But he's in, he's happy. He's now in his base. Yes, yes, yes. This is what I wanted to see. This is how easy it should be. If you ever have to modify anything, this is how easy it should be. Zuego, take note. So let's crack on with these. Let's get all these guys cut and then we'll figure out what base. Boom, boom and boom. So we've got all these guys now with their pegs cut a lot shorter. Is it accurate? No. Is it still going to work? Yes, yes it is. So what I want to do, I want to put a really cool looking figure into the free toner. So let's go with the AL1 lightweight. Boom, he's in, love it. What else have we got left here? We've got two walkers, an AL1 bald and a classic heavy. Let's go. Bald geezer in the fluoro. Let's have our classic heavy in the pink. We're gonna have a walker in the sparkle slash transparent red, and in the orange and the green we'll have the other walker figure. Now this guy isn't quite sitting as flat as I'd want, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop a little bit more off of him. Boom, make him a little bit shorter because I think that's why he's not sitting flush. So what we want to do, push in and twist, there we go. That is exactly what we wanted. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to zoom you guys in so you can see how flush these guys now fit up. So there we go, as you can see now we are zoomed in. Look how flush and clean those have gone together. This three-piece base still feels that there's a little bit of give in it, so what I'm probably going to do is try and glue all these bits together because I don't want all that movement. You can see that inner grey just separating itself away there from the light blue on the outside, so I'm probably going to glue that in, but I'm actually really happy with how easily that went together. So if we just zoom out again a little bit here and just bring in some other figures. So here we've got the other AL1 figures and a Super Footy inside an LPM online base. But what we've got here now is a really, really nice selection of figures. And now, that was one of my favourite things about the Little Plastic Men website and product, is there's so many options. Now, as I said, I was frustrated with how difficult it was to get the figures into the bases. The bases themselves and the options for weighting, etc. that you've got were brilliant. I love that flexibility, that option to do that. Now, a simple modification, that is a sort of modification I love. If you have to do anything, it should be easy. It shouldn't be difficult. Unlike the Zuego ones, which we've seen in the previous episode in this series, where I've been trying to modify them for Santiago figures, but before I can even do that, I've got to work out how to get the discs into them. These guys didn't have that problem. It was just a case that their pegs are too long. Now, personally, for me, that's still a frustration. It shouldn't be that way. For me, it should be as easy as it is with Super Footy and as easy as it is with Santiago. However, it's not difficult. Like I said, I got a simple pair of long nose pliers here with a little cutting bit for wire cutting. With a proper set of craft cutters, or even with sandpaper, that would have been easy as well. But it was so simple, so easy. And now these guys are ready for paint. So happy days. See, I told you it was easy. I'm so pleased that it's an easy thing to fix, and I hope you guys have found something useful in this video that actually don't let it put you off. Now, what happened in the episode where it didn't work is, I can imagine if that had been me, I'd have watched that and gone, well, I'm not buying them. These figures and bases, guys, are so good. There's a variety of options at Little Plastic Men online. Again, that link's in the description. There's so many options, and I don't want that to put you guys off. It's an easy thing to fix. Is it something that I personally believe should need fixing? No. For me, if you're buying figures, bases and discs, they should fit together, but don't let it put you off, because you cannot get a lot of these figures from anywhere else. These are the only people that supply them, and they are fantastic. This company is brilliant. I love it. They can be used, as we've seen in this episode and the previous one, with so many different bases as well, that makes them so just sort of universal, but they do just require some modifying. That's it. If you want to get yourself one of these mugs, guys, this is the European Champions Special, European Cup Winners Special mug that we are currently on here. That is available on our website, www.westwoodtablesoccer.uk, as well as a whole lot of other packages. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, please smash that like button. I hope it has been useful to you guys that have seen it. If you've been watching this video, there's been a subscribe button in the bottom corner the whole time. If you haven't already, click the one that's going to come up in here. On this side is going to be the rest of this playlist. Over here, we're going to have the painting tutorials playlist. Nothing else for me to say, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Stay safe.